From We Are Spectacular, this is the Spectacular Marketing Podcast, a podcast about everything brand, marketing, digital and social for the food and drink industry and beyond. Today's episode is a bit of a special and a bit of a left turn from where we usually go with the podcast. However, I met an amazing individual called Maths Mathisen, and Maths has created an amazing new app called Hold. And what it does is that it encourages students and hopefully the wider world eventually to come off of their phone. And when they do, they earn points to do more fun things when you put your phone down. Maths is from Oslo in Norway, and we had a bit of a chance meeting through a LinkedIn exchange, and it turns out he's part of the amazing incubator and accelerator called Founders Factory, which is run by my old boss, Mr. Brent Hoberman from lastminute.com days. So I really hope you enjoy this episode. Matt's talks about being an entrepreneur. He also talks about the audience in terms of centennials and millennials, how to get their attention, and actually is really talking to you to say, come and join the Hold App movement and reward people for doing good and staying off their phone. So it gives me great pleasure today to welcome Maths Mathisen.
Thank you very much.
I got it right?
Yeah.
Yes.
Perfect.
Get in. From the quite amazing and mind-blowing brand new app that's out there called Hold. So I'm tremendously excited about it. It's a really groundbreaking app.
Thank you so much for having us.
That's okay.
Yeah. You want me to tell a bit about Hold and what we're doing?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, just before we get into that, I guess there's a couple of things. There's no subtitles with this podcast. So, you've got a Scotsman and a Norwegian in a really small box recording. So I hope everyone gets through it okay. And also, just a tiny bit of background. I had a meeting with you only a few weeks ago. And it was really fortuitous in that I then realised that you were in, an incubator, an investment centre. What's the proper name for it?
Founders Factory.
Founders Factory. What would you call it? Is it an incubator? Accelerator?
Accelerator.
Yeah.
So they invest in companies in different stages. Some super early, and some a bit later.
Yeah.
And they invest with cash, but also with help and expertise. Yeah. So we have a team of people helping us out and actually reaching the goals that we have.
Yeah. So I felt really excited being there because I was in past great company. So Mr. Brent Hoberman, Henry Lane Fox, David Hickson. So, I was really happy to just bump into them. I think you were like, how do you know these people? What's going on? So it was, from a past life, but it was lovely. It was very lovely.
I think they created this really good vibe, mixing up young people and really top-notch experienced people in the same place, which is super good for us.
Yeah. So, tell us a bit about Hold, and then we might go back a bit to see how you got to that. So what is it?
Hold is basically an app that the time you don't spend on your phone, you get points for. And the points you exchange for free products, discount, or participate in competitions. Mm-hmm. We actually want to make it fun to put your phone down and actually spend time in real life, which is really important for us.
As a phone addict, how are you going to persuade me that that's the thing to do? So
what we saw is people really are aware of that they check their phones way too much. Now I saw some studies saying that on a year base you spend 76 days on your phone per year. And that means that you a lot of that time you spend just consuming, scrolling through Facebook, Instagram, but you're actually not getting any real value out of it. So that's the first step, to make sure that you're aware of how much time you may be wasting.
76 days. On average? Is that a kind of average thing?
Yeah, that's the average. So if you take that per year and you know that average year, you expect to be 82 years or something now?
Maybe.
Yeah, hopefully.
Maybe. Not being Scottish, probably not.
But again, it's a lot of time wasted. And in whole, you want to make sure that you use your phone and take it the right way. So just doing the stuff, actually focus at the one task at a time and not getting all these messages in at the same time.
And so how does it work then? So you download the app, but is it only for students now?
Right now it's only for students, but we see that it's a huge market for families, corporates. Since we launched here in the UK 2.5 months ago, we got more than 70,000 emails from parents, and they're really angry. They really want to have our app. They rate us really bad on App Store because they can't use it, or the kids can't use it. Because we started out with something that we want to solve our own issue. We were students last year, really struggling actually to pay attention to in class, actually focus on your exams. So we started to give ourselves incentives by putting your phone down. Just buying like the one checking the phones the least, got the coffee. And we saw that giving ourselves these small incentives really helped. And I have a background from marketing while I was studying. And I also saw that a lot of the brands are doing sampling, but they're not effective in a lot of terms. They don't get any data collection. They just go on the street, hand out a lot of different products, but the problem is they don't know who they are, why they pick it up, are they going to buy it, etc. So we saw that maybe we have an opportunity here, actually bring our issues, our problem, like checking our phones too often, and merging that with the brand's need of actually reaching students or the next generation.
Well, this is a really big one. So there's a couple of great things there. I mean, so dumb loyalty, right?
Yeah.
Why? So you just, buy 9 coffees, get the 10th free, and, so that's just like a transactional relationship, and then that becomes like expected behaviour. And there were experiments years ago where they did it with monkeys and all that, which was expected behaviour versus random acts of, sort of kindness.
Yeah.
And, guess which ones were better, right? So when it becomes expected, then it becomes like a right. So I think it's nice in this way that you feel like you've earned it. So there's a value exchange.
Yeah.
And also, in terms of, we get approached all the time. How do I reach millennials? How do I reach students? How do I reach centennials? How do I get into universities and colleges and all the rest of it? And the only way that we knew of for a while was you hired a student brand management company or a student brand manager. They then worked for you, in inverted commas, and then they would get messages into people's dorms and all that. But if all the attention is on the phone, then this is why my mind was so blown when I met you. And just as before I forget to say, you tricked me so bad, right? So you were presenting to me and you were like, try and read, you can read this slide yourself, and I'm going, this is quite a lot of text. And then all of a sudden the phone message goes off and the presentation goes beep with all these messages. So you tricked me, and I was like, so I started reading the messages and you were like, can't concentrate, can you? And I was like, oh, damn it. I fell for it.
Oh, but that's because the issue is not only for students, it's for everyone.
Yeah.
During a meal time, or when you're actually trying to focus, you're in a group meeting, 10 people, and suddenly 3 of them are put on the phones. Then they're suddenly lost. They don't pay attention to what you're saying anymore. But I think, like you're saying, a lot of brands really struggle to reach the students, and that was one of the issues what we wanted to solve. Because you said that now people are doing Freshers Week, and that's like, all the brands hit students at Freshers. But what happened the rest of the year? How can you have an always-on strategy? And to hold, we are in the pocket on a daily basis. Just to put it in context, 25% of our users, they spend 5 hours or more on hold every day, Mondays to Sundays. And that just means that we create this connection to people because we're a tool for them. We help them improve their focus, but at the same time, we help them with the mental health effects. And that's a really big issue right now. How Instagram, for example, maybe make you create your fake life, or how you actually have to be awake at night to answer a message, because that's how students are now.
Yeah.
They need to be cool and they need to be awake.
Yeah.
And that's a danger, and that's why we want to do marketing by doing good, where the brands incentivize students but have a much tighter connection. And we see we can definitely see by our, for example, when we have coupons in the app, 97% of the coupons are getting used in store. People actually go to the store. 97%, because you invest your time.
Yeah.
And then again, yes, you give away something on discount or free, but the value exchange here, it's not seconds of their attention.
Yeah.
It's several hours.
Yeah.
To get the free coffee, it's 17 hours of your phone.
Yeah.
And that means 17 hours of brand thinking.
Yeah.
That's really a lot for a student. And again, you have this daily interaction with them.
And who are you sort of working with right now in terms of the offers or the discounts or whatever?
So we work with everything from View Cinema, that hands out popcorn and discounted ticket. We see that's really popular, and also good connection, because again, it's about being present, enjoying the moment. We know that if we can make sure that the students focus more at the same time, they also have time to be with their friends, they have time to watch a movie, etc. And that's
Don't be on your phone in the cinema.
No, that's also
oh my god, that's like the biggest bugbear, and even if it is just like it's silent but you just see the light going, you're just like, oh man, you've just completely thrown me.
So that's also a really good connection with the brands as well. So with them, we also work with brands such as Plant Organic, One Piece, Expedia. We work with a lot of different brands. Like we work with telcos in Norway, we work in banks in Norway, 7-Eleven, so all the 7-Eleven store is back in Norway. So we work with different types of brands, which is really interesting how we can engage them in different ways. And when we started out, Hold was just more like a sampling platform. But we changed that actually, how we engage people, like how we suddenly making banking top of mind. And also how to bring people into your store. That's really effective and proven cases on that.
Are you doing any restaurants or pubs or anything like this?
We just have not here. We're looking to partner with restaurants here as well. But we try and we have a lot of restaurants now back in Norway, where we the pizza chain, the biggest pizza chain there.
What's that called?
Pepper's Pizza.
Oh, okay.
So how we can bring students into the store and actually make them enjoy the meal much more. Because we see studies saying that when they actually don't use your phone while you're having food or while you're having food together, you kind of enjoy the moment. You spend more time together. You want to go back to the restaurant. And you also spend more money. So that's why if a restaurant can give a discount for people holding when they come into the restaurant, then people will also come back.
It's a big deal, and I think, thinking about the food and drink world, you want something that is memorable, and if you are sitting on your phone, it's passable, you won't remember. And, there's this wonderful book, if anyone's looking for that kind of thing, it's about mindfulness, and it's called Living with Full Attention. And the book's just almost like a textbook from school, like a workbook, and you sort of work through 8 weeks. And it does things like, walk a different way to work or school or whatever, be connected with that cup of tea or, whatever it's going to be. So I think there's a lot to be said for that, in terms of that connectedness, because you'll get a richer experience. If there's more awareness from the customer, they're going to enjoy your product more too. They're going to really taste it. They're not just going to shovel it down, while they're liking things and not liking things. So I think it absolutely makes sense completely.
And that's also what we see, like, yes, it's possible to reach people and students on social media, like Facebook. But the problem is they're not getting engaged.
No.
Like, it's hard to tell a story when the average viewing time of a Facebook ad is 1.7 seconds. And that's why you like to see companies like Procter & gamble. Like say that we stop making 30 seconds ads, we're only making 2 seconds ad.
Yeah.
Maybe put it a bit too long, but I'm just saying that our attention span is getting shorter and shorter, and when you don't have fully connection to what's happening in front of you, you won't be engaged by it. And that's what we're seeing that you need them to be engaged, and that's why actually they need to care about what you're doing, care about what you stand for, because the next generation, they're a purpose-driven generation. They really look at where did all this come from? Why to do this? Do you have any CSR initiatives, etc.? So that's why we believe that in Hold, we do marketing by doing good. It's a way to actually to speak on their terms and not a pushy banner ad.
Yeah.
It's more an engaging way where they decide when they want to be engaged by you.
Well, just talk about, because we covered this before a wee while back, in terms of the attention span. So you're giving me some diamond facts about that where I was like, no way. Yeah,
so today our study shows that your attention span today is 6 seconds, and a goldfish has 8 seconds attention span. And we always say that goldfish like the most stupid.
No memory.
No memory. And then, of course, if you look back 10 years ago, our attention span was 12 seconds. And what's the sudden change in this? It's like the smartphones, it's how we interact with content, how we try to multitask, but we can't handle it. And that's why people believe that young kids now, they really knows how to multitask and do all these kind of things, and they're masters at checking master with iPad, for example. But what you also don't think about is at the physical things. I saw some studies showing that the average time you learn how to tie your shoes has gone down from. I was a study showing that 95% of 5-year-olds know how to tie their shoes 15 years ago, but today it's only 15% that knows how to tie their shoes. But they still know how to check the weather on iPad. They knows how to play all this game. But it's kind of a different way of interacting, and kind of the presence is actually being able to interact with people. I'm afraid that we haven't seen what's happening with the people growing up now, and the ones actually taking care of your kids that's an iPad, not the person.
Yeah, well, I mean, we're seeing it with our little one. She's just turned 6 and doesn't know how to tie her shoes. I think it's the rise of Velcro. Maybe, or the rise of the slip-on shoe is maybe not help. But and then, she's got her own YouTube channel, right?
Yeah.
And for her birthday, that's what she was wanting. And then she's saying to me, she's not, just turned 6. How am I going to get famous, Dad, if you won't make my YouTube public? Because I've just got it on a private link. Because I'm just, I don't want it to be out there and, and she's doing good stuff and, 3 hours content without missing a beat. But you're just like, I'm not, But how will I get famous, Dad? And you're just like, wow, my God, like it's just became so crazy. And also, to your point about this marketing for doing good.
Yeah.
We were looking at some stuff for a speech I was doing a wee while ago, and it was actually about the millennial generation rather than centennials in a deep fashion. But it was about what can they do to give back? What can they do that's going to be part of their legacy? What can they be part of that's going to make the world a better place? And, so much of, certainly food and drink world that we're in, it's still very, financially driven. And there's not a lot of brands out there that are actually starting from a social, sort of giving back scenario.
But that's also what we think is, if you look at companies doing good as well, they are also now actually now outperforming the ones that not care about it. Use example from Unilever. You see the companies where they really put that into context and actually show what they're doing to help. Those brands are outperforming the rest of the 250 brands. So that's the thing that we are like seeing, that it's not that, because a lot of people believe that when you do good, that's just a cost. It's not some income coming in here, and that's a problem, because because we know we have all this information, and suddenly we really care about what you stand for. They need to show us transparency. It's like really key word here.
Yeah.
That they actually need to show what they're doing and how they actually help me or help the world become a better place.
And then, so you were saying you were at a seminar, panel thing the other day, and so what were they sort of saying? I mean, what kind of companies were speaking, and what were they saying?
I went to this event yesterday about talking about actually how brands can reach the next generation. On stage there was brands like Misguided, it was House of Fraser.
House of Fraser.
So it was two different. They want to see how brands that are really killing it, and how brands are maybe struggling a bit more to engage them. But it's really interesting how this all came down to we're trying to reach a purpose-driven generation. We can't do it as the way we did it. We have to change and we have to adapt. They need to believe in what we're doing, because the truth is we hate ads. That's the worst thing. And we learned how to block them and actually make sure that we filter it out. And I think that what people need to see is kind of when you have this ad before of a YouTube film or etc. The only thing we'll look at is how or when and where can we skip it. And the same thing with a pop-up or a banner, like how can you get rid of that? You want to see the content you have to push for. You don't want to see something different. Of course, sometimes if you will be able to connect those things, connect actually the content that you want to see and the ad in front. But that's a really hard thing, and usually those goes in hand.
No, it's tricky. And then, what else, what seemed to be resonating with those audiences? Was there any sort of trends or, what this new generation coming through is looking for? And we're talking Gen Z, Gen Z, for the American listeners, rather than, millennials and stuff. So we're talking centennials and beyond, right?
So they kind of brought to some good example of good and bad example. They said that Pepsi campaign was like
the Kylie Jenner or whatever.
The one like they said that really like that was so fake. We were actually trying to put everything in the same box and then suddenly solve a problem with Pepsi. And but you also have brands that are doing good, like Ben and Jerry's, for example, that's always working after this triple bottom line, and how actually they've been able to like have this community and the brand love because they're doing good all the time. And actually make sure that not only the ones sitting with the stocks actually benefits, it's the entire customer journey, and the ones like actually making the products and how to actually have impact on people, planet, and profit. So they also proven that they actually can make profit, which is again good.
Is there any brands that you look to for inspiration? Is there ones that you love?
I'm believing, like for my sake, Ben & Jerry's has been the one, like one of the inspirational factors. How they actually are a bit on the edge all the time. They're going into the politics and like trying to change the world. They're still a small brand, but they're still there doing things on edge and in a new way, and it feels real. They care about it, and that's really important. That because when you're just doing something because you believe your audience will like it, then
it's very different, isn't it?
Yeah, because we can see it straight through. This is fake. You're just trying to actually make me buy this product. So that's why you need to really think through when you do a campaign and actually not just matching two things together and
so true. Well, I mean, we get it a lot, where we're talking to clients or prospective clients and things like that, where they're like, oh yeah, we want to do something good and all that, and then all the buts come in.
Yeah.
So as you go through it, you go, well, if you really mean this, then you need to make sure that if you're going environmental, let's say, or you're doing good or whatever, we need to audit your brand, your shop, your light usage, your water. You know, we need to make sure you've got a clean report card, because you can't just throw cash at something and then be doing bad with, you know, other things. And then all the buts come in and, oh, but that's quite difficult, or but that's the way we've always done it, or but yeah, that's going to cost a fortune, or but, and it's like, yeah, you need to, you know, see it as a marketing investment, you know, and, you know, there's a lot of companies, you know, now brilliantly going, we're going to give up plastic straws, you know, for example, in food and drink. Great, you know, big applause and all that. But then you get things like, we're going to do it by 2020, and it's like, do you know what, if you just pulled your finger, you know, just get on with it.
Yeah.
Or the other one is, you know, I'm waiting for, you know, the plastic lids on coffee cups. So when's that going to, because again, hey, we've got rid of straws and we've got a reusable cup, and aren't we great? Yeah, but, you know, there's still a plastic lid on it. So what are you going to do? You know, what could you do about that? You know, and you've still got, you know, plastic on round your cake or your sandwiches or your burger or whatever. So, you know, there's an awful long way to go for that, and, you know, whoever cracks that's going to be, you know, in a good space. But that'll be quite interesting. So, you know, back to Holden, in terms of, you know, the usage that you're seeing, you must be seeing some fascinating sort of behaviour. So when people are actually, you know, when you're getting the data back about what they're doing and all the rest of it, what's sort of going on in there?
What we usually see is people, or there are different types of users, but one of the most common users, they actually go straight to the marketplace and look at the different products. Then they I want that one. And then they start saving.
Right.
They have that, and then that's what I'm saying about the brand thinking. They set themselves a goal, which is coffee or this big prize they can win.
Imagine like getting a free beer, like, you know, and just sitting doing it, and you'd be like, yeah, come on.
Yeah, like, of course, we had a lot of companies approaching us about that.
Yeah.
But
are you not going to do alcohol?
We still have to build our brands, and we still, again, that's the thing that we are. One of the kind of most special thing about Hold is that how we merge education and students and brands. Yeah. Because usually when brands want to go into school, they're getting like thrown right out again. They're not allowed to do anything. But with Hold, schools call us and actually want to work with us. Yeah. And then suddenly when the teacher stands in front of class and like, guys, put it on hold. And then you have it entire class actually starting on holding, and then you have the brand thinking. Yeah. And that's a daily thing happening. And that's what I'm thinking it's special that we actually be able to bridge those two.
But, you know, I guess, could you do it like age specific then? Yeah. So that, you know, because I think students would absolutely stay off their phone for beer, you know.
Like students will love beers.
Like older students, obviously.
But it's just that we need to be careful. We're a brand new company coming from a small country. We don't want to step on people's toes because we have positive things happening from government side, positive things from a brand side. We need to be aligned with the brand partners we have. And actually what we try to do is actually improve your well-being. And so that's what we maybe down the line. But rather now we just need to build a brand and people have a positive connection to what we do.
A Scotsman talking about alcohol. Surprise, surprise. So I guess you've got some sort of enter to win things as well that require sort of fewer points, is that?
Yeah, so we have products and we have discount and we have competition, which is like prize draws that we can win a trip around the world, we can win a free meal, you can win a scholarship on a weekly basis. Like students can win £1,000 a month actually on hold, or no, £1,000 a week. And that's also changing their life. But I think that those prices, that's people see that the really, really active users, they go for this big price because they're trying again and again. We created this digital scratch card where people like interacting on a daily basis with the brand in order to win the main prize. And by doing that, we create this positive connection to the brand and make sure that you are the preferred brand in your category, either restaurant, bank, telco, etc.
What is interesting as well, because, you know, what you were saying before as well was about, you know, the benefit of this versus social media, because there is that investment in hold and you know, in gamification. Again, you know, something that people come to ask us about all the time. You know, we want to gamify our loyalty or whatever, and you know, and this is a great way to do that. Certainly for a certain audience right now. But what about that stickiness versus social media? So if I was, you know, liking a brand on there, or you know, what's the difference there, do you think?
I think that, again, you decide which one you want to interact with. But also what's the difference is kind of when you're actually looking at the marketplace, your attention is 100% there. Well, you are on social media, you scrolling through, you just look, you don't know what you're looking for, but on hold, you have a specific topic, a specific thing you want to achieve. You want to decide where I want to spend my points. And the point is your time, and that's the kind of currency on hold. Yeah. And that's why we actually, again, gamify it and gamify offline time and make it fun for them. And that's why we have the high score where people really compete and like people try to cheat the system, buying 2 phones.
Do you know, I had that thought.
Yeah.
Is it not possible?
No, it's not possible. It was at the start, but again, when you work with students, one of the best things to work with them is they give feedback straight on. When we've been using and testing this back in Norway, and we have 40% of the student market in Norway. 40% of the students in Norway on board hold.
Jeez.
So again, we create this tool for them. Yeah. And they try to cheat the system, but we learn and adapted. Yeah. That's what a good thing about being a small company like us, like a startup. Yeah. You always need to listen to your users, and you need to try to change as fast as possible to create the best possible thing.
And then hire the people that are the best hackers.
Yeah.
So like say, you know, what else could people do to dupe the system?
So we actually had 2 people at like the best tech school, best tech school in Norway, trying to, like, they actually hacked us, like one of the first 45 months, and then like they sent us this, we got this breach here, here's how to solve it. I think it was like 20 pages. They sent us like, just here's how to fix it, and it was super, because people like really care about it and actually want to, because we were students again, like maybe that's one of the good things. We have this interaction with them, understand how to speak to them and actually make them engage with us. Yeah. So yes, we definitely try to hire the ones that are trying to hack us.
Yeah, I mean, that's the best way, isn't it? Get the safe crackers in. And then also what I thought was a nice feature was like being selfless. So you don't have to reward yourself. You can be kind to others. So there's a charity element. Yeah.
So we work with charities like UNICEF. We're actually you can exchange your points to give away to charity, and we made it really concrete. It's not about giving away £5. It's about giving away either a school book, a pencil, a backpack, and again, we solving people's problem here about phone addiction, but also giving students in Syria or Africa the chance to actually attend school. This is a way where we actually work with corporate partners that are supporting UNICEF and give them a channel to get the students involved. And the engagement we had here was like record-breaking. People are so keen on helping out. And that's again what we talk about, the purpose-driven generation. Yeah. And that's why we believe that's what mindful marketing is about, creating this win-win situation for all the parties involved.
Yeah, I think it's fabulous. And again, you're just living the brand by doing it, you know?
Yeah.
And then also, I think one of the biggest things as well is, and it's that real sort of mystery, I suppose, is, how to get word of mouth among students, so you're in such a unique position rather than other big brands or whatever. It's just a pass it on thing, isn't it? Where, your mate tells your mate tells your mate tells your mate, I think that'll be quite exciting.
So that's what they say, seeing like, because of 87% of our users, they're coming in organically. They're spreading by itself.
Yeah.
Because people are talking about it. We have this charity things where the school promotes, like suddenly the TVs around the schools are having hold on, like, hey, help out, invest 1 hour of your time and give away a school book to kids that need it. And that's like a really effectful marketing for us. And the same thing when people are getting a coffee at 7-Eleven, for example. All the students coming into the store at the same time, like, oh, why do you get that coffee for free? Oh, I have hold. And the same time, like, for people maybe hear about it at school, like going to 7-Eleven, creating the habit, and you see the study saying that if you go into the store once, the chance of going back is 36% higher, and then it's 54% higher. It's about creating the habit, and creating a habit for you to use your technology better. But also creating a habit of us helping you to choose the brands that we believe that you should interact with.
We talk about that often to like all of our customers, and we do training courses on sales and things like this. And one of the things we talk about is 3 times as a habit, and exactly the stats that you've got. It's exactly. And there's an amazing video with a guy called John Taffer about restaurants. He's on a Gary Vaynerchuk video. And he's very kind of old school, sort of New York kind of talks like that.
Yeah.
And but he nails it by saying first time get them in, second time, and I think by the third time it's you've got a 70% chance of keeping them as a customer. So I mean it's a fantastic thing to look at, and for you to be able to do that with the knowledge of who they are and when they're going in and when they're reclaiming it, and I think there's so much rich data for companies to get behind.
And
which I think is really cool.
So that's also the thing that's really important with maybe sampling, that we understand who's the user, when they actually decided to purchase your product. Maybe that was 2:00, and then they decided to go to your store at 6:00. Okay, what was the reason why that user wanted to interact with your brand at 2:00? Was it because that's a daily habit of him having a break, or was it he was thirsty, or all this kind of thing? Understanding that and making also the brand understanding how they need to change in terms of the messaging, what they like, what's the brand preference, which drink works better. So I think that's really important.
I think it's some really cool stuff there. And then in terms of sort of what's next then, so opportunities for you, and so where do you see it going, ultimately? What's the dream with it?
Yeah, so like I started out with, we were students solving our own problem, but we want to make this hold for everyone, because we see this kind of interest from families and corporates. So next step now is actually because we've been testing that for a while, but actually testing a bit more, and also kind of on real users here as well, not only back in our safe home place. So testing that, and at the same time we want to like improve the connection to the brands, because the reason why we come here was when we talked to our brands in Norway, they said you need to come to UK because there's where the decisions are getting done, and there's how we can actually bring one deal in one place to maybe 10 deals in 10 different countries. So that's what we hope for, actually be able to duplicate kind of what we have now into 10 countries, which is next, going into the rest of Europe. So
exciting. That sounds good. And then obviously, there's a great opportunity for people to get in with you early. To be able to target people they probably are struggling to get to. And also, just be a great part of it for the future, and actually nice brand rub-off for people, right? Which is they, by being part of you, they're doing good too. And I think to be, viewed, and pun term, but viewed in a good light, and I think it's really great to see you and the team over there, getting behind it early. I think that's really smart of them. So
that was also, of course, when we knew we're not from here, people like, yes, you need to take a risk when you signed up in terms of that, yes, you put your brand behind it.
Yeah.
But for example, if you take a look at View and what they achieved, they've been on BBC, they've been on like Telegraph, their logo, the brand logo has been behind it.
Yeah.
And you see that, and that's quite rare, because giving those kind of press with your brand logo in it doesn't happen.
Yeah, not very often.
But again, we have this spot on with people having this issue.
Yeah.
More and more people understanding that there's issue, more and more interest around what we're trying to solve. And at the same time, we see the brands struggle more and more to reach the students or younger people. That's why you can bring all this together and create this positive connection.
Yeah, and I think it's good. I feel like you're ahead of the curve in terms of the demonization of social and all that stuff. I mean, not that I would advocate demonizing it at all, but I think it's just the more time we can spend in the real world away from our screen making important connections is the right thing. But I think, what is it they talked about? Sitting was the old smoke, or there's the new smoking.
Yeah.
So then I guess being on your phone is the new sitting, or something. There's some kind of, cat ate the dog ate the fly, or whatever. That's all kind of going on at the moment.
But that's also interesting how young people they understand, they want to. They're like, it's trendy to have a digital detox, and we see that studies shows that 77% are willing to do a no social media free January, and that's like new facts right now. And so we want to actually create the world first digital detox January. Maybe inspired from starting out fresh, no alcohol January. But we see that your mental health is getting more and more important. Because we believe that you're getting really affected. Or not affected, but you're getting really affected by social media, and actually trying to keep up with the pressure from what's happening there. So that's what we're trying to do, like give people actually a chance to disconnect.
January's going to suck then, right? Because you have no meat, so you do, vegan, no alcohol. So you said something about no dancing, no smiling, no kissing.
And then,
what will you do? Will you just go into some kind of hibernation tank?
Hopefully we can bring people together.
Oh yeah,
right?
you could do it. You could cash in all your offers.
So then people can save a lot of time.
Free coffee, free cinema.
Yeah, then...
The other thing is, you do have some rules around it though, right? So you could, because I was thinking, it's easy because I'll just put it on hold from, night time. So you've got like opening hours? Or
yeah, we have hold hours between 7 and 23. Because we want to have sure that people have sleeping as well. They're like, the standard is you should have 8 hours of sleep. And so that's one of the reasons why we do it. We also have that you need to, if you have been holding for longer than X amount of hours, we send you a push notification and say it's about time to take a break. And if you don't answer on that, if you don't actually interact with it, you're gonna lose your points. Because again, you need breaks, and we don't want you to just put it on hold and do that the entire day. You need to again check it once in a while.
Move, check,
and actually making a payment, grabbing a cab. It's all this fantastic thing you can do with your phone, and that's one thing. Like we should be getting improve our well-being, because all the factors connected to it. Just says that yes, we are learning. We should be able to learn fast. We should be able to improve in all parts of life. But the smartphone addiction is maybe breaking it down and actually stopping us from actually achieving our goals.
Definitely. Great. So in terms of maybe sort of finish up. I know you need to head. You're busy, but is there any sort of piece of advice that you would give to people in terms of obviously getting in touch and connecting with you and being able to target students, but just anything as a business owner, co-founder and CEO, for businesses to the one thing they could do to do some good, where could they even start? Any business, whether it's an agency or a restaurant or a big supermarket, or what could they do?
Are you talking to a more of a B2C approach, or like for them internally?
Yeah, well, it could be a bit of both, an example might be lately, so Pret, for example, just sold for a lot of money. So they decided to give every member of staff £1,000, which was a lovely gesture, and that'll be a big deal to a lot of people. So, that the rub-off you get from that, the nice thing is they do so many other things that are good that, so it kind of adds up. But I guess it's just, let's say you're a Italian pizza chain that, just, works every week just to, go about your business but don't really give anything back. So, where could they even start?
I think Holt could be a good way to start. No, but I think that you should look at your brand values first of all. What your brand stands for. Because if you try to mix two things and actually just trying to engage people because you believe it's the right thing, it should be something that you have it in your roots, something you believe in yourself. Because if you as a brand manager can't stand behind it or don't understand what's happening, it's gonna be a student or a kid will see right through it. So because that's like, you need to find something that your brand can stand for, not trying to follow everyone else. Of course you have a platform that can help you with that, and also talk to your customers. That was one. Of course, we're quite small, but we have like every person in our team needs to do 1 hour a day of customer service. It's not because we could hire people to do that, but it's because we need to understand that everyone needs to understand what's happening and understand why people reaching out, and then understand how we can fix it. Why, so that instead of going directly to us, that it's not the problem anymore. So it's kind of understand. Of course, that's hard in the big scale business, but again, it's the understanding the people interacting with you, and do that on all types of levels, not only the ones at the floor actually selling you product.
I think that's a really good way to look at it, in terms of getting everyone involved and talking to the customer, because so many times there's head office and then there's the other people that just don't even get anywhere near it. But amazing point about the brand values. That's a killer piece of advice, because so many people basically do it as an add-on. Oh, we should do that. But actually, if your brand values are all about, profit, quality, and speed, it's quite selfish, you know, in terms of what's interesting to you. It might be some of it for the customer, but maybe there's a gap for most companies to add or integrate or change a value that actually, what is the one value out of your value set that really truly gives back and could perhaps change the world.
And that could be, like you said, connected to the problems that you're having, that you are kind of the impact you're having on the planet. Like, again, talking to the plastic, like, why did they only change the plastic straws? Why not change the entire thing? So understanding the problems and the things what you leave behind. Then you can see, like, of course, it doesn't need that all your values are can be connected to the efforts that you need to put in place. But it should be, you definitely have problems or impact that you put on the planet or on people. So that's why I think that down the line here in 10 to 20 years, the brands that are staying is the one that actually can learn how to engage people and make them love your brand. Because they're not sticky at all. They're changing brands all the time. But if you find a way to interact with them and actually care about them, not about the product only, it's about the entire company. You're proud of actually buying that product. And that's what I think people need to work in order to achieve.
I think it's a really good point. I mean, I think, is it Dalai Lama, I think, has said something like, if every 5-year-old learned to meditate and, in mindfulness, then within a generation there would be no war. So that's a big challenge to sort of end on. every single company in the world, if they had one value that was focused on giving back within 5-10 years, what a seismic change that would make to the planet.
Because they have, and also that they have daily interaction with so many people. Like Unilever has like daily interaction with 2.5 billion people.
Yeah.
And that's like the impact they can create by doing good.
Yeah.
It's extreme. And you can actually, solve a lot of the problems around the world and get people behind you by doing it.
Brilliant. So, marketing by doing good.
Yeah.
So a real big sort of thought for today. So, Mats, thanks so much for coming in, man. It's brilliant.
Thanks for having me.
Just enjoyed meeting you every single time. And I just thought this would be of such big interest to everyone, in terms of the entrepreneurial world, the audience that you've got, and also, there's actually a commercial opportunity for anyone listening to be part of it, where they could be targeting that audience first and leapfrogging their competitors in terms of that doing good. So thanks so much for coming in, man.
Thank you very much.
So there you have it, the new way for you to reach students, millennials and centennials is the Hold app. So hopefully Mats will have continued success. Hopefully some people listening will see the opportunity and reach out to them so that they can do good and you can get that rub off for your brand too. And also you can beat just normal social media ads and basic sampling and definitely see the back of dumb loyalty. Thanks so much to everyone who continues to listen to the Spectacular Marketing Podcast. Thanks so much for especially the Instagram Messenger love. Lots of nice comments coming through from people and meeting up with listeners in real life, #IRL, which is really good fun and loving hearing their story and what they're up to also. So making lots of new friends through the community. So thanks for that. Please do rate, review and subscribe and share if you can. Tell people about the Spectacular Marketing Podcast and what we're doing here. A massive, massive thank you to Gaz, Gabby and Mihal for all of their hard work in putting the Spectacular Podcast together. I'm Mark McCulloch, and this was Spectacular.